A lot of stress in life, it's your fault. Well, the good part is that you could also be the one that is now going to reduce that stress and turn it into something that is in for your benefit. Having stress is not something that you could, take away from your life. You'll have it from times. The question is how you use it. But even more important, understanding that having way too much stress is something that can cause you much damage, not only to your life, but also to the people surrounding you. Because that would be the way you react to all different type of events that come into your life. Maybe you're the one to blame for the stress because you're not doing a lot of actions that can reduce that stress. But as we said, you're also the person that can now take those actions and reduce this stress. I can for sure say that I was responsible for my stress. I had terrible stress. By the way, before we go in onto what happened over there and how that stress came, I want to say stress can sometimes be good for you. You want to have just a little bit of it to, move you and do some things in life, but in a moderate way. But I'll say that in my case, it wasn't moderate at all, and I was the one that was responsible for it, okay? It was my fault. Now, I could always say and blame events in life. They stole my money, this relationship didn't work, it was her fault, and a lot of different other stories, but it was my fault. Why was it my fault that I had the stress if it came from people outside? Number one, because the way I interpreted how things happened. And number two, is because I didn't take the actions in order to reduce the stress. There are so many things I could do right now in life, and of course I could have done them, but it doesn't matter, I didn't. That could have reduced the stress. Today I do those things, and still, it doesn't mean that stress won't be in your life, but you'll reduce it. When you reduce that stress, so you reduce the likelihood you'll have those illnesses. Not only that you reduce that likelihood for those illnesses, you'll increase your joy in life, you'll increase your happiness, you'll increase the well-being that you'll have in life. But again, when I didn't do all these things, now it's really easy. I won't say easy, but now I'm saying it, but I was in crazy stress and it was all my fault. Why was it my fault? Because I wasn't doing the right activities, okay? I wanted to do so much things in life that I said I don't have time to do these activities. I'm too busy for them. It's not for me. I have I have too much things I need to accomplish. Not only that I had too many things that I need to accomplish, I thought stress is something that everyone have, and that is totally right. But I thought that also really high stress is something that everyone have, and it's perfect. And not only that everyone have it, it's something we're supposed to have. I was creating then a business, and if you heard the videos in the past, you also knew that at that time I had some challenges in the relationship and in the business in terms of financials, and there was a lot of stress. So I thought, okay, I'm supposed to have it, so why should I try doing all of these different actions that will reduce the stress? Because isn't this part of the game? And then when I saw, I went to all these meetings, met different type of people, creating different type of relationships. Some of the relationships were amazing, and until today we're in strong contact. Some were huge, I'll say, warning sign and caused some damage, and that's also my fault because I created that relationship. But the point is over here that I saw some really big businessmen in my field that have a lot more on their mind than me. Okay, when I say a lot more, and they're not that stressed. Things happen also in their business and events happen, but their stress level is lower. And I was thinking to myself as well, like how can this happen? Like, I do have a lot on my plate, and my stress is way higher. It got to a place that I couldn't breathe that well, and I had a hard time breathing. And I told myself, okay, something over here is not working right. Now, again, I understand it makes sense that I have stress, but it shouldn't be that high, and it shouldn't put such a huge impact on my life. Then I started, talking to these people, also in relationships that they had in their life and also in their businesses. And I remember one of them, I asked them, like, how is it that you don't have like really high stress? You're going through so many things in life. something over here doesn't make sense. Or you're a really good actor and I just can't see it. Or you're doing something that I'm not doing. And being an actor, I'm not looking to act. I want to actually feel better and not have really high stress, and I want to breathe the right way. So I didn't care about that. But I told him, if there are things that you're doing that I should also do, please teach me. So the first thing that we spoke about is the way you look at the events. He told me things will happen to you in life. Period. Thinking that they're not going to happen, that itself can really increase your stress, because every time they do happen, you're like, why did that happen? It wasn't supposed to happen. So first, he said, accept the fact that things are going to happen and events are going to challenge you. Now, when they come, you might have stress at the beginning and also maybe after the beginning. But after that, try to look at whatever came towards you in a different perspective. So whatever challenge it was, try to think, okay, it came, it's here. So I guess there's something I could learn from it. If I got the challenge, it means I have the ability to face it. Talk about a lot of different, things I can do in order to reduce the stress, and not only reduce the stress, also do things that will create a feeling of joyfulness and happiness and well-being. But I think one of the most important things that he told me is, Yair, life is not in your control. Life will create events. Accept it. Some of them you like and some you won't. And understand, number one, the control is not in your hand. What is in your hand is doing the best you can. After you did the best you can, release. You can't do any more than that because you did the best you can. So always make sure, you do the best you can. But after that, just release. Now, I want to say a lot of times, like I told him, when I'm in the really challenging time, it looks like there's no way to get out of it. It's all done. I had enough and it's not going to work anymore or whatever it is. And even if I wanted to work, I have no chance. So then he was talking about small steps. Take that small step every time. Small step and move forward by small steps. Those small steps will eventually create a huge difference. But when you're all the way at the bottom, even if you're not all the way at the bottom, but you're in a challenging time, you can't look all the way to the end. It doesn't work that way, because then you'll just give up. You think you won't have any chance. What's the next small step that could push you forward in the direction that you want? So those two things that he told me are really, really crucial, I think, in every area of life, in order to reduce that stress, because then you first understand you don't have control, but second, you do take control of whatever you could do. So whatever happens, and then you start moving. You're in progress. When you're in progress if it's the right progress, creates happiness and reduces the stress. I want to share with you a few more tools that can help you reduce the stress and increase the relaxation, the well-being in your life. So we said number one is change that meaning to what happened to you. You don't have control in life. Whatever happened, change that meaning, okay? After that, take small steps towards the place you do want. Another thing that could really help you is being in movement. Now, I'm not saying exercise, I'm saying movement, because exercise is great, but that's only when it's, a more relaxed exercise. When you're doing a high tense exercise, that won't reduce that stress. Maybe it would move your attention, and I do it a lot because it helps me in that moment, but it could also increase stress. So some type of movement in life, I'll say, could be in nature. It could be just walking a little bit more to walk, but do some type of movement that is not too intense, okay? Save those intense times of exercise to once or twice a week of really intense exercise. After you do that, I'm sure you heard plenty about the breathing techniques. I'll just talk about two of them now really short. Number one is 4-7-8. You inhale for 4, you hold for 7, and then you breathe out for 8. When you do that, you inhale through your nose and blow your stomach like a balloon. Hold, exhale through your mouth, and then the balloon gets empty. Another breathing technique is, I think it's called 2-to-1, is if you, let's say, breathe in for 4 seconds, you let out for 8 seconds. If you breathe in for 3, you let out for 6. So basically, whatever time you breathe in, double that, and that's the time you breathe out. Now, if you count those seconds, your mind will be more here, will be more in the well-being, because it won't be able to think about other things. So in addition to breathing is your social connections. Having the right people around you is so crucial, so crucial. The right people can really define the way your life goes. So having those relationships are really important. Another thing that you can do is in your current relationship, if you're in one, and if not, try to create one, you need to have love in your life. Love starts from love to yourself. That's a must. And after that, create more love with the people that are surrounding you. Of course, each type of relationship gets its own type of love because it's different types of love, but it has to do with the connection that we spoke before. You really need that in your life. Can really help reduce your stress. And another two that are really, really important, I'm saving them for the end, which is now. Sleep. Sleep can really, really, really help you to reduce your stress. Better even if it's, regular times that you go to sleep. That way you'll get a better type of sleep. But even if not, get enough sleep. So many research, forget about research, I saw about myself so many times when I didn't get enough sleep, has such a huge effect on my life. And not only my life, like I said, there was a lot of research about that. Having enough amount of sleep can really reduce your stress. Now each person is different, but usually it's someplace between 7 to 9 hours, depends on the person. And just one more for today is gratitude. Always have life in perspective. Your nightmare is someone else's dream, okay? So I'm not saying to close your eyes and not see the challenges that you have, but being grateful for what you have is so important, because you have right now so many things in life. Be grateful for them, because if you put your focus only on the challenging things and you only put your focus there, your energy will be that type of energy, okay? Energy follows attention, so put attention on the things that you do have in life. Now when you need to face a challenge, of course, face it and do whatever you need to do, but then move back to what you do have in life. Have that gratitude. There are so many amazing things that you have in life, and don't tell me you don't, because you do. I know that you do. Each person does. Now, when you go through this gratitude, don't try thinking too hard. The most amazing things in life are the ones we take for granted. So many people will pay so much money just for them to hear. They can't hear, or they can't see, or there's so many things that they can't do, and they'll give all the money in the world to have that, and we're just taking it for granted. So remember, the most amazing things in life are the ones you take for granted. And when you act out of a state of gratitude, realize I said act because I don't believe in not acting. If you have a challenge, you need to face it, but face it from the energy of gratitude of what you do have in life, and the results will be totally different. Think of what you can do out of all the things that we spoke in order to reduce the stress in life. Now don't try to take all the steps at one time. Maybe start with gratitude, or maybe I'll say even better, start with sleep. Get the right sleep, and then some breathing, and then from that start creating more of the actions that create those feelings of joyfulness that reduce the stress. So start with one or two, put them into your schedule, and with time, of course, add more that would bring more joy to your life. I wish you the best. I hope you enjoyed the video and got some tools to overcome your challenges and light your path. If you haven't yet, please smash that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, the most amazing things in life are the ones you take for granted.